James, sorry to say, a nightmare start for Williams. Could you just tell me how you saw Logan Sargeant's crash and also the extent of the damage?
So I'll start with the extent of the damage. It's enormous. Floor, front wing, all suspension, gearbox cracked as well. Big job to rebuild that in time for FP2. We'll do our utmost. It's just going to be hard to get that car back out and running, I think, in this short period of time they have available to us. In terms of what happened, he'd done a number of laps prior to that point. Suzuka is unforgiving. When you move just a few centimeters offline, it's not that you run wide, you crash fundamentally. And in this particular circumstance, he put a wheel on the grass and the rest is history. In terms of why he was there, I think he just didn't have quite the visibility. It's a brow of a hill. He didn't quite realize where the car was when I assess it and look at it.
As a statistical man, what do you think the chances are of getting the car out for FP2? What would you put them at?
It's hard to give you a probability because since I saw the car, I've been talking to everyone here and in press conferences, but it's hard to say. What I can say is the team is doing their utmost at the moment. It's stripped down and they're trying to rebuild it as quickly as possible, but this amount of work would normally be 5-6 hours, not one you try and fit into 2.
So we're talking about rebuilding the car. Is there a job to rebuild Logan's confidence after Australia, and do you think this is indicative of a confidence issue?
We've been talking all the way through the week. Spoke to him again last night at 9-10 p.m. because very clearly in the circumstance I want him performing in his absolute best. I think prior to that point you saw where his performance was. He was up there in and around the region where he should have been on a track that's very difficult to get there up to speed, and his soft time was competitive to that point. I'm not seeing any lack of confidence from him. He's a consummate professional in every sense and he wants to perform at the very highest level. This wasn't a normal situation where you've taken too many risks going into a corner. This is just a situation where you weren't quite aware of where the car fully was. So I wouldn't put it down to a pressurized situation. I'd also say that you'll see him coming back strong as a result of it as well.
Final question from me. I'm sure you're sick of talking about your third chassis, but I was just wondering if you had a timeline for the third chassis and when that might appear.
It won't be until Miami. We've had some setbacks, there's no doubt about it. The amount of accidents and damage that we're trying to repair, plus the chassis repair, has consequences, and Miami, unfortunately, is when we'll have that third chassis available.